Welcome to Asian ID. How terrifying does an actor's dominance have to be before an entire industry begins revolving around her presence almost unconsciously? Because from 2025 to 2026 alone, the short drama world seemed to enter an era where one name peered everywhere audiences looked, and that name was Guo Yuxin. Wasn't it 8 dramas, all surpassing 1 billion views each? Sounds less like ordinary success and more like a cultural takeover unfolding in real time, doesn't it? From wealthy marriage and tracks overflowing with emotional tension, to cancer survival stories soaked in heartbreak, to fiery northeastern romances carrying the smell of old streets and winter smoke. She somehow stepped into every genre without losing herself inside any of them. And how many actors today can truly claim that kind of range? What makes her rise even more fascinating is that she did not emerge from internet traffic culture or viral celebrity packaging alone, but from a professional acting background shaped inside the rigorous halls of the Antral Academy of Drama, which makes her success feel almost symbolic in an industry long mocked as fast food entertainment, doesn't it? Because short dramas were once treated as disposable content consumed quickly and forgotten even faster. Yet Guo Yuxin walked directly into that world and somehow built an acting powerhouse reputation strong enough to force audiences and critics alike to take the format seriously, didn't she? Anyone who watched her breakout masterpiece Shanksha already understands why her rise feels less like luck and more like inevitability. Because her performances by King Mei carried the kind of emotional precision impossible to fake through beauty alone, didn't it? She played a wealthy photographer terrified of marriage, yet instead of relying on dramatic screaming or exaggerated breakdowns, she allowed pain to leak silently through trembling breaths, hesitant eye movements, and the unbearable fragility of crying alone in a bathroom where no one else could witness her collapse. And isn't restrained sorrow often far more devastating than loud suffering? Viewers began calling her the ultimate seductive sister-in-law archetype, yet the compliment was never truly about appearance, because what trapped audiences inside her performances was not glamour itself, but the dangerous subtlety of her emotional control. Wasn't it? A single glance from her could feel like an unfinished confession hanging in the air, and before audiences even realized what had happened, they were emotionally imprisoned inside the story alongside her characters. Weren't they? Shanksha exploded to 3 billion views within only 18 days, transforming from a successful short drama into a phenomenon powerful enough to redefine industry standards entirely. And wasn't that the exact moment Guo Yuxin stopped being merely another actress and became a symbol of something larger? Yet what truly separated her from countless temporary stars was the fact that she refused to remain trapped inside the comfort zone of luxury romance dramas, because the moment audiences expected repetition, she pivoted completely into something darker and more emotionally brutal, didn't she? And please tell me if your heart still beats. She portrayed Lin Jin, a wife diagnosed with cancer while emotionally suffocating inside a marriage, and her performance carried a terrifying realism precisely because she did not perform grief theatrically, but instead embodied the numbness of someone whose entire world has collapsed too suddenly for tears to arrive immediately, didn't she? The scene where she decides to divorce and reclaim control of her own life resonated deeply with countless women, not because it felt fantastical, but because the anger inside her eyes resembled the quiet exhaustion many adults carry privately for years. Doesn't that explain the emotional impact? Audiences praised the drama as a female awakening revenge story, yet its success came not from shallow empowerment slogans, but from Guo Yuxin's ability to portray what real emotional reconstruction actually looks like after a person breaks apart completely, didn't it? She made viewers believe that survival itself could become an act of rebellion, and perhaps that is why so many women saw fragments of themselves reflected inside her performances. Isn't it? Still, anyone claiming she only excels in tragic roles clearly has not witnessed the emotional electricity she brought into In the August Summer, where reunion romance became less about sweetness and more about the chaos hidden beneath emotional restraint. Wouldn't you agree? As the Dr. Zhang Nanshan, she transformed longing into physical tension itself, because every avoided glance and controlled expression carried the feeling of a heart already spiraling out of control beneath an outwardly calm surface, didn't it? The chemistry felt almost terrible precisely because she understood that reunion stories are never truly about the past returning, but about unresolved emotions refusing to die no matter how much time passes. Isn't that what audiences connected with most? Then came perhaps her most shocking transformation of all in northeastern love stories, Flash Marriage Rose, where she discarded urban elegance completely and became Yang Chunrong, a fierce northeastern woman bursting with humor, stubbornness, and raw vitality. And wasn't it astonishing how thoroughly she disappeared into the role wrapped in colorful cotton jackets, speaking dialect naturally, and carrying the untamed energy of 1990s northeastern China inside every movement. She made the character feel lived in rather than performed. Which explains why the drama became the first vertical short drama ever broadcast on Dragon TV. Doesn't it breakthrough mattered because it proved short dramas were no longer confined to niche digital spaces, but beginning to demand recognition from mainstream television itself? Wasn't it perhaps the boldest project in her career so far? Remains We Grow Wildly, filmed directly on the desolate landscapes of Ulankab's Gobi Desert, where Guo Yuxin appeared almost entirely without glamorous styling while portraying a pressed actress searching for meaning within emptiness itself. And didn't the role shatter countless assumptions about what short dramas are capable of achieving artistically against endless yellow sand and brutal winds? Her performance carried layers of confusion, despair, self-hatred, and eventual reconciliation so nuanced that many viewers described the series as possessing cinematic depth rarely associated with vertical dramas. Isn't that extraordinary? For years, critics dismissed short dramas as shallow entertainment designed only to stimulate viewers quickly before disappearing into algorithmic noise. Yet Guo Yuxin's performances repeatedly forced audiences to confront something uncomfortable, didn't they? What if the problem was never the format itself, but the lack of sincerity poured into it? Industry commentators now openly describe her success as a turning point, signaling the evolution of short dramas away from pure visual attraction and exaggerated plot twists toward emotional realism and acting quality. And honestly, isn't that shift overdue? Audiences have grown exhausted by endless industrial sugar romances and artificially manufactured emotional highs. Because people no longer want merely stimulation, but emotional experiences that feel recognizable, intimate, and painfully human, don't they? Guo Yuxin succeeded because she understood something many productions forgot while chasing algorithms and trends. Namely that viewers do not truly fall in love with plots alone, but with people believable enough to carry those stories emotionally. Isn't that the real secret? Her drama face acting style allows every role to feel entirely distinct from the last, creating trust between actress and audience because viewers know they are not watching the same recycled personality wearing different costumes repeatedly, don't they? At the same time, her project selection demonstrates remarkable intelligence, because rather than blindly following trends, her team continuously targets emotional anxieties experienced by completely different audience groups. Doesn't it? Young viewers searching for fantasy romance find comfort in her sweet love stories. Middle-aged women frustrated by emotional suppression find release through her revenge narratives, while audiences craving healing and humanity discover warmth inside her quieter performances. And isn't that broad emotional reach precisely why her popularity keeps expanding in many ways? Guo Yuxin's dominance feels like a rare victory of professionalism over disposable entertainment culture, because she proved that even inside the fastest, most commercially driven storytelling environment, audiences will always respond most deeply to sincerity, emotion, and believable humanity. Didn't she? She did not merely become popular, but raised expectations for an entire industry that once believed viewers would accept less effort simply because the format was shorter. And now that audiences have tasted what genuine acting inside short dramas can look like, how can they willingly return to emotional emptiness again? Perhaps that is why her success matters beyond streaming numbers and viral popularity, because every time she elevates another short drama into something emotionally unforgettable, she quietly forces the entire market to evolve alongside her, doesn't she? Thank you for watching the video. See you again.